Now I know what you're thinking, is One Piece worth it? It's over 1,000 episodes long. Listen, if you clicked on this video, you're either curious about One Piece because you've heard of it, or you're one of my viewers who's only halfway through it, or you just want an excuse to rewatch One Piece. Don't worry, I got you. Regardless of why you clicked on this video, you're here and you're gonna get what you asked for because we are going through the entire East Blue saga in under 10 minutes. Let's go. Our story begins with the world's most notorious pirate, Gold Roger, being executed. His final words about his hidden treasure, the One Piece, inspire an entire age of piracy to begin. And our main character, Luffy, is one of the many people inspired by his speech. As a little kid, Luffy is visited by a group of pirates known as the Red-Haired Pirates and their captain, Shanks. Shanks becomes a mentor-like figure and basically his idol. So much so that he gives himself a scar to prove his toughness to Shanks. Shanks and his crew is making fun of Luffy, and Luffy decides to eat a random fruit that he found out of frustration, which happens to be a devil fruit, which gives him superpowers like stretching.
I'm fast as boy.
A group of fodder mountain bandits attack Luffy, and Shanks and his crew just dismantle them. Although the mountain bandits were easy to defeat, Luffy was thrown into the sea, and a side effect of eating that devil fruit that I was talking about earlier is that he cannot swim. Shanks then goes into the water to save Luffy, and he ends up getting his arm bitten off.
How you just gonna go and just bite his arm? Just eat the shit? I don't understand. He said he on a diet, not a heavy lunch. Yo, this Sea King is stupid.
But then he literally uses his aura to scare away a sea beast. Shanks leaves Luffy his trademark straw hat and says to return it to him when he is a great pirate, which makes Luffy emotional. Now, Luffy is 17 years old, going on his own adventure, and ends up in a barrel, barely surviving the sea. Luckily, a ship finds him, but that same ship is being raided by pirates. Their captain, Alvida, has a cabin boy named Kobe, who really wants to be a marine, but ended up on the wrong boat, and now he's a pirate. Luffy pops out the barrel, destroys Alvida and her crew, and takes Kobe to Marine Base. While there, he meets a swordsman who has aspirations to be the world's greatest, and that's Zoro. Zoro is being tied up because the Marines at this base are very corrupt. The Marine captain, Axe-Hand Morgan, is trying to be a tough guy and ends up getting his cheeks clapped. And his son, Helmeppo, is even more of a baby. Kobe then goes off to the Marines, and Luffy has to face some random clown pirate-looking guy named Buggy. In this process, he meets a navigator, which he sorely needs because neither Zoro or him know how to navigate a ship. Her name is Nami, and she's reluctant to join the crew because she really hates pirates, but she kind of likes Luffy because he's a good guy. Reluctantly or not, she joins, and they end up going to Syrup Village where a guy named Usopp lives. Now, Usopp is not only a chronic liar whose dad was on Shanks' crew, who Luffy somewhat knows, but he also has an insanely rich girlfriend. Now, this rich girlfriend has a butler that actually is an undercover pirate. He and his pirate crew end up raiding Syrup Village to try to take Kaya, the rich girlfriend, all of her wealth, and they fail utterly. After the Straw Hats are done saving the village, Kaya gives them a brand new ship called the Going Merry. Usopp joins the crew, and the Straw Hats are on their way to the Grand Line to start their adventure. By chance, they end up coming across a sea restaurant that has a cook with some swirly looking eyebrows, but this cook knows how to fight, and his goal is to find the All Blue, a legendary sea where all four seas, the East, West, North, and South Blue, all connect. While Luffy is trying to get Sanji to join the crew, they're interrupted by a man named Gin, who is a part of the Krieg Pirates. And if you don't know, Don Krieg's the toughest dog in the East Blue. You don't want to mess with him. Turns out, Gin is on the brink of starvation, and nobody wants to feed him because he's a dirty Krieg pirate.
Oh, hell no, man.
Sanji and Zeph, the owner of the sea restaurant, have had past experience with starvation though, and they know it's nothing to joke about, so they give him food. Zeph actually saves Sanji from drowning and then starvation by giving him all his food and sacrificing his leg to end up eating it. Yes, that's how he lost his leg in the manga. I know if you're an anime only, you're like, what? He ate his leg? Yes. Gin then goes back to Don Krieg, who then brings his entire fleet to the B.D.A. and demands they feed his entire crew.
I'm the type of nigga stand on business. One man arm and getting 50. Let's do that. I stand on business.
Again, Sanji and Zeph experiencing starvation, they do as he says. The B.D.A. and the Straw Hats then have to prepare for battle, as Don Krieg was not thankful whatsoever. But then a man by the name of Hawkeye Mihawk appears out of nowhere on a coffin for a boat. His title is the world's greatest swordsman. This is actually the man that Zoro was going out to seek because he wanted to defeat him and claim the title for world's greatest swordsman. Turns out Mihawk was playing around with the Don Krieg pirates, destroyed their entire fleet single-handedly, and that's why they're on the brink of starvation. Zoro then challenges Mihawk, gets absolutely obliterated, but his courage and ambition is enough to keep Mihawk curious enough to leave Zoro alive. Oh, and by the way, Nami has actually stolen the Going Merry and is going back home, but there is a reason. We'll get back to that in a second. Luffy battles it out with Don Krieg, ends up victorious, and Sanji ends up joining the crew. The crew tracks Nami back to her hometown to confront her about why she stole the boat and what's going on. Turns out there's actually a valid reason as to why she hates pirates, and it's that she's actually being ruled by one, and it's not just her. Her entire village is being ruled by the Arlong pirates. Arlong basically set a price to buy back Fuchsia Village from its tyranny, and the price is 100 million berries, and that's why Nami's a thief. Little does she know, Arlong is not planning on honoring this deal whatsoever, and at about the 100 million berry mark, he steals it all and says, hey, you didn't give me my 100 million berries. Nami is completely broken. She's just abandoned the best group of friends that she's met in her entire life, and now her dream of freeing her village is completely crushed. But in her moment of weakness, Luffy and the Straw Hats say, I got you! Luffy puts the straw hat that he cares so deeply about on Nami's head, and the Straw Hats have their iconic Arlong Park walk. Just look at the aura oozing from this walk. The Straw Hats defeat the Arlong pirates, and now Nami and the village are free. But Luffy, it seems like you're gonna have to hold your horses just a little bit longer because they gotta stop by Logtown Island first. You guys remember that fat lady pirate from earlier named Alvida, and that clown-looking dude named Buggy? Basically, they're teaming up to scheme and take down Luffy at Logtown. And at Logtown, which is the last stop before the Grand Line, there's also a marine captain by the name of the White Hunter. His name is Captain Smoker. Why is his name Captain Smoker? Well, the dude has two fat cigars in his mouth at all times. Pause. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that the Straw Hats are not safe at Logtown. This is also where the king of the pirates, Gold D. Roger, was executed. And after an old man at the bar tells Luffy about the story of Roger, Luffy wants to go visit the execution site. Alvida and Buggy jump him, and he ends up on the execution platform about to get executed. And just as he's about to get his head chopped off, he smiles, which not only gives Smokey chills, but then lightning saves him from being executed. The Straw Hats use this shock, literally and figuratively, to get out of Logtown because everybody's distracted, except for Smokey. By the way, Smokey has eaten a devil fruit, and it's not any normal devil fruit, it's the smoked devil fruit. Wow, what a coincidence. But the thing is, some devil fruits give you the properties of the element that your devil fruit is. So for example, Smokey is made out of smoke and can't be hit by physical attacks. Or at least not yet. But at least for now, Luffy can't, and he gets cooked. But then a gust of wind fills Logtown, and a man by the name of Dragon appears to save Luffy. Random man pops in to save Luffy? I would be very suspicious of this man if I were you. The Straw Hats miraculously escape Logtown and head out to Reverse Mountain to enter the Grand Line. Oh yeah, and by the way, Buggy and Alvida end up getting caught and going to jail. Zoro also copped a new sword while at Logtown because, as you guys saw earlier, he got wrecked by Mihawk, and his swords did as well. And since Smokey just can't take an L, he decides to chase after the Straw Hats in the Grand Line as well. Now the Straw Hat crew can finally make their way to the Grand Line to pursue their aspirations and dreams. Nami to make a map of the whole world, Usopp to be a brave warrior of the sea, Sanji to find the All Blue, Zoro to become the world's greatest swordsman, and Luffy to become the king of the pirates. If you enjoyed this shortened version of the East Blue Saga, make sure you drop a like, hit that sub button, check out FEXR merch, and get ready for the Alabasta Saga because that's what's up next. Let's go!